320,000 missing migrant children, all under Kamala Harris's watch. And those are only the ones we know about. Guarantee you that number is probably tripled, maybe even quadrupled. Muckraker exposes the fate of Biden and Harris's 320,000 missing children trafficked through the border. Border Patrol agent says it's, quote, exactly like the sound of freedom. Well, if you ask me, that's exactly what it is. A new investigation by Muckraker exposes the Biden-Harris administration's trafficking of humans and children and the pathway of the hundreds of thousands of children that are trafficked into the United States with the federal government's help. This comes as an August report from the Homeland Security Office of the Inspector General admits that over 320,000 unaccompanied migrant children were lost and are considered at high risk of trafficking, exploitation, or forced labor. 291,000 of these missing children were never issued notices to appear or placed into removal proceedings. 32,000 children failed to appear on their court dates and are now missing. After a government insider provided the outlet with a list of over 8,000 children and their last known addresses, Muckraker began investigating the dangerous places these children were taken, interviewed some of the trafficked minors, and confronted one of the federal contractors moving the children. One of the first properties that they visited was an abandoned house in Amityville, New York, where two boys, 7 and 10 years old, were allegedly transported. They later went to an address in the Bronx, New York, and spoke to a girl who was trafficked across the country from a migrant facility in Pomona, California. The girl told them that two kids who were in the facility with her did not know where they were going or what would happen to them. She also said a 16-year-old girl disappeared overnight at 3 a.m. after crying because she didn't know what they would do with her. The girl confirmed that some of the children had asked to be sent back to their home countries. The federal government wouldn't let them go home. Other children confirmed that kids were being held against their will in the United States to be exploited for labor and sex and being threatened with deportation or homelessness.
When you were in the shelter in Pomona, California, did you at any point hear other kids say that they didn't know where they were going to? Yeah? And that they didn't know who they were going to live with?
Yes.
Yes? Did you hear that many times?
Yes. I've even had a little friend. I can't remember her name, but she said she didn't know where she would go.
How old was she?
Same age as me. 13. I don't know what happened.
Because they get them up at 4 o'clock in the morning?
3 o'clock in the morning. 3 o'clock in the morning.
And they said,
they do not allow it.
Pick up everything you're leaving?
And they take them away. It gives me the creeps.
Where was your friend from?
One was from Honduras, and the other was from Guatemala. Well, she was a good friend of mine before that. She always cried and told me her sorrows. And she told me to give her my Facebook. I always waited for her to send me a message, and I never got anything from her.
And how old was she, if you remember?
16. She was 16.
Did you ever hear others say they had asked to be sent back and they wouldn't let them?
Yeah, I heard that.
Well, whether people want to believe it or not, the federal government, under the leadership of Kamala Harris, via NGOs, all taxpayer funded, has been human trafficking, child trafficking by the hundreds of thousands, the millions. They do it in the cover of night. They do it in broad daylight. They do it because they don't care. And the majority of the American people are barely waking up to this reality that you literally have millions of children in this country that have gone missing. Illegal aliens living in Phoenix, Arizona apartment complex admit being registered to vote, express interest in voting for, you guessed it, Kamala Harris. Non-citizens and illegal aliens living at the Los Vecinos apartment complex in Phoenix, Arizona, admitted to being registered to vote, according to undercover video posted by the Oversight Project. Other illegal aliens in the same apartment complex also admitted to being registered to vote and expressed interest in voting for Kamala Harris. One of the illegal aliens living at the apartment complex said that Trump would be better for the economy, but he prefers Kamala Harris because she supports the illegal aliens and won't deport him.
¿Este ya lo registraron?
Que había una aplicación que me dijo que, bueno, fue en la ayuda en la ayuda que nos dan a nosotros los hispanos cuando venimos aquí.
Oh.
Yo puse que sí, que iba a votar, pero bueno, no sé si quieres registrarme ahí.
Ah, o sea, usted puso que sí.
Sí, yo puse que sí, me dije, ahí me salió una aplicación que si quería votar y yo puse que sí.
¿Y usted es ciudadano?
No, estoy esperando la residencia todavía.
¿Está esperando la residencia?
Sí.
Ah, ok. ¿Y usted planea votar este año?
Sí.
Y usted, la última pregunta es, ¿a quién le gusta a usted ahorita? La Kamala y el Trump.
Y el Trump. No, la Kamala.
La Kamala. Tenemos una organización que ayuda a la gente a registrar para poder votar en las elecciones.
Oh, ya pasaron.
¿Ya? ¿Usted ya está registrado?
Ya.
Oiga, ¿usted es ciudadano o no es?
No. Aquí no hay ningún ciudadano.
Oh, ok. Oiga, pero este año la Kamala y el trompudo, ¿usted quién le gusta?
El Trompas dice que el primer día va a empezar a sacar gente.
Usted tuviera que votar por alguien, ¿por quién vota?
Mira, el Trompas es negociante, ¿ok? La Kamala Harris no es negociante, pero la Kamala Harris creo que está con la comunidad, pero pues va a seguir igual, la gasolina va a llegar más cara, todo el dinero lo están mandando para las guerras.
¿Usted votara por Kamala?
Pues sí.
One thing that the pollsters are not considering, doesn't matter what poll you look at right now, is the illegal alien vote. Because there will be tens of millions of illegal aliens voting in this upcoming federal election, and they will all be voting for Kamala Harris. Not only are illegal aliens affecting U.S. elections, they're committing mass murder across the United States. Illegal alien from El Salvador charged with murdering his 18-year-old girlfriend in Maryland months after being released by ICE. What a winner. An illegal alien from El Salvador has been charged with murdering his girlfriend just months after being released by immigration authorities at the southern border. In a statement to Fox News, ICE officials confirmed that 23-year-old Luis Sanchez was in the country illegally and had previously been detained and released from their custody. The statement read, Sanchez is an unlawfully present 23-year-old Salvadorian national. U.S. Border Patrol apprehended Sanchez June 2nd after he unlawfully entered the United States near Santa Teresa, New Mexico. Later that day, ERO El Paso placed Sanchez in the Alternatives to Detention program with a GPS monitor. ERO El Paso terminated Sanchez from ATD August 8th. The Montgomery County Police Department arrested Sanchez September 20th and charged him with the murder of his girlfriend. Sanchez remains in the custody of authorities in Montgomery County, Maryland. ERO Baltimore lodged an immigration detainer against Sanchez September 23rd, 2024, with the Montgomery County Detention Center. The arrest is merely the latest in a long list of murders, rapes, and other horrific forms of violence enacted by illegal immigrants who have been welcomed into the country under the Biden-Harris administration. Listen, part of replacement migration and part of open borders is accompanied by violence to demoralize and desensitize and cause the public, the general public, to become accustomed to seeing violence, murder, rape on a daily basis. Panama's president says Biden's open border is leaving trail of decomposing corpses in his country. The president of Panama has warned that Joe Biden's open border policy is leading to a trail of decomposing corpses in his own country. Addressing the United Nations General Assembly this week, President Jose Raul Molino said that migrants traveling through the Darien Gap from Colombia to Panama are often failing to make it out alive and consequently leaving, quote, decomposing corpses for authorities to deal with. It reminds me when Kamala Harris was appointed as the border czar in 2021, and she was tasked by Joe Biden to seek out the root causes of migration and illegal immigration from third world countries. And when she was in Guatemala, the Guatemalan president made it very clear to this installed administration. He said that when you guys, Democrats, in 2019 and in 2020 were running for the White House, you guys started to dog whistle to my country that your borders will be open once Trump is removed. He said once that happened, the cartels, the human traffickers, the child abductors, they all started to mobilize and get ready for open business. Why? Because of Kamala Harris, because of Joe Biden, because of the open border that was to come, and now here it is. My name is Drew Hernandez with the Gateway Pundit, and you have been on Watch with Drew Hernandez.